Guys, so yeah, you might have seen in a few recent videos I've been going through my pile of, well, opportunity that I've had sitting on the shelf for the last 2, 3, maybe 4 years. And you would have seen a lot of the videos have been of Orks because, well, Orks are my favorite. I do kind of like Space Marines, but not your normal Space Marines. I like them to be, well, possessed or nurgled or, well, a little bit different from your bog standard painted blue Space Marine. So these are the ones I'm going to be doing today, and that's the good old Chaos Space Marines Possessed. As you can see, yeah, awesome looking Space Marines because, well, they don't look like your conventional ones because these guys have got some weird looking limbs and, well, a whole load of spiky bits coming out of them. So yeah, in this video, I'm going to show obviously the assembly of these little chaps and a full painting of these. So yeah, stick around to see well how I got on and how I did everything. So one thing I will say is obviously a lot of the mentions I do get, well, I used to get from a well-known company that had a smiley face with a tick on it. But what I'm going to try and do in, well, upcoming videos is to start using more local game stores. And obviously when I say local game stores, they're local because they're online and they're obviously all over the place. So the recent one I've used, and that is Refresh Cartridges. Don't let the name fool you, as I can leave a link down below. You'll be able to see they're doing an absolute shed load of Warhammer miniatures, which is pretty awesome. They've been around since, well, 1999. Do same day dispatch, free delivery, and yeah, as I say, an absolute shed load of Warhammer stuff that's, well, cheaper than Games Workshop, which is pretty cool, and probably the smiley face company with a tick on it. So yeah, go give them a click and obviously check out more of the stuff they do. So yeah, I've got one of their boxes. I say the Chaos What's It Machine Possessed. Yeah, we're going to glue them together. So if you've seen in a recent video, I spilt this bottle of glue. Made a right old mess of my desk, my cutting mat. So now when I'm using this, I've got this. It's a bit of wood. Well, it's a bit of junk wood. So it doesn't matter if this gets messed up. But yeah, in the 5.5 years I've been doing this channel, it's the first time I've ever knocked anything over. Never spilt any paints, but yeah, I spilt this blue pot of cement glue. But yeah, I couldn't believe it when I did it. Anyway, so yeah, these things obviously there is a case of slotting them together. One thing I do like about using cement glue, as you can see here, I'm sort of dry fitting the pieces together and then using the cement glue. So it's that fine that it can just sort of seep into the nooks and crannies and all the gaps just to sort of get everything done. One thing I will say I do love about the Warhammer miniatures, and that is you do get the variety of options. So you can see here, there's a couple of heads to choose from, which does mean you have some bits left over, which is pretty cool because you stick them in a bits box, and then you can do some kit bashing, which is something I am going to be doing very soon. In fact, I have done. Yeah, videos will be coming out soon for that. So basing, yeah, I'm getting away from my usual bog standard grass basing, as I'm doing sort of terrain that's, well, I guess a wasteland desert. And for this, it's a case of sticking some PVA glue on, and then I've got some sort of cork that's there. Obviously, you can get a whole variety of ranges of size of corks. I've got quite a small one, and then some very fine sand. And the reason I used to get put off from doing this kind of thing was when you come to painting it, it used to look pants, or when I painted it, it looked pants. But obviously, I've got a neat trick now for doing the bases, which isn't painting. So yeah, again, stick around to the end to see, well, how I do that, and the fact that I do now love doing these sort of desert wasteland kind of bases. So obviously I've got these on my little miniature handles, which obviously I love using, and now it's just a case of going around cleaning up mold lines, and we'll obviously cut it off from the sprue. I do some of this when I do cut things off the sprues, but typically, unless it's something that's interfering with putting a bit together, I do kind of prefer going around afterwards. The thing is, though, typically I do still miss a few bits here and there. It's not till I come to paints or do the primer and then the dry brushing that I then see any little errors, or say mold lines are sort of the worst thing, but they're getting better. There's not as many as there used to be. So it is primarily just where I've cut this off the sprue, there's little bits obviously still attached. So that's them ready. And I say, yeah, so here's all the little bits left over, which is great. So yeah, don't throw anything away. Keep a little bits box because you never know when you might want to kit bash something. And the sprues. Yeah, don't throw away sprues, guys. I've done a shed load of videos on what you can turn these sprues into. And the biggest thing I've turned them into is a towel manta, if you can believe it. 'Cause I did. So yeah, go check out all the videos you can make things with, well, sprues. So yeah, I've gone to my usual sort of painting style here. Good old priming in black. I'll leave links down below to the primer I use. It's by the Colour Forge. Been using it now for about 3.5, 4 years. Absolutely love the stuff, just because it is, well, it's a matte black. And if you ever used any of the old rattle cans, you'll know that sometimes they're not that matte. Well, this one, yeah, certainly is. And there's a whole range of other colours as well, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, as you can see, they're getting all the nooks and crannies with the dry brushing. And this is how they've come out. Obviously, doing that stage isn't necessary. You could just prime miniatures in white, but yeah, I like to do them in black and then the white, just because, well, that's how I like to do things. So yeah, their skin. This is where again I love using washes because you can get a whole variety of coloured washes. So obviously lots of the sepia ones and sort of the black tone washes, but yeah, you can get a whole range of colour ones. So I'm going to use the red ones over this because I want their sort of skin tone to look not quite normal. Obviously, it's normal now because I'm painting it in just your typical sort of pink skin. But then doing the wash over the top certainly gives it that, well, a bit more of a fleshy tone, as though it's almost the skin underneath the skin. Does that make sense? It kind of does in my head. Just sometimes things in my head probably should stay in my head. But yeah, so everything's going to get painted in the sort of normal flesh tone first. And so this is why I love these. So I do love Space Marines because I like miniatures that are big and chunky. And well, Space Marines definitely are that. But typically you paint them rather all red, all blue, or maybe green. Again, I don't know much about the factions. I just know what I like. But yeah, so painting them all blue is a bit pants. Whereas I say these guys, there's a lot of skin coming out. Again, this guy's got a claw for a hand. So yeah, definitely not your typical Space Marine there. So yeah, putting the wash on again. The washes are great because obviously they do pull in all the nooks and crannies, so you get a nice bit of contrast from the darker areas to the lighter areas on obviously the raised flat bits where there's less of the paint to sort of pool. Well, it doesn't pull at all, does it really? And then we're going to do the gold trim. I'll have to admit, so I don't really paint Space Marines much. I am obviously more of an Ork painter. There's a lot of trim on these guys. Obviously, as I'm painting all 5 together, because I do like to do a bit of batch painting, because typically batch painting is a whole lot obviously quicker because you've got the paint ready, so you just do it on one and then do it on the next. But yeah, these guys, oh man, I didn't realize just how much they've got. Yeah, there's a lot of gold involved on their trim, and there's a lot of trim, so it took ages. And then my preferred black is the Intensity Ink Black. Again, I like this one the best because it does seem, again, this is where technical words I don't know, it does seem more translucent, wetter. Um, Basically, it pulls really well in the nooks and crannies, and on the flatter areas, it's black, but it's almost like I say, you can see through it kind of black. So this is definitely my preferred black to do. Especially obviously doing the slap chop method because obviously then you can see the differences in the where the whiter bits are and where the darker bits are. And this stuff just goes on really well. Obviously, you have to be careful not to put too much on because it is definitely so much more fluid than the contrast paints and sort of typical speed paints I use. So that's pretty much all their armor done. Yeah, elaborate it looks. These obviously say guys do have claws and bony bits sticking out. So it makes sense to use well the bony speed paint, which is really nice because obviously it goes on a treat and does give that kind of illusion of I can't say it's aged bone. It's certainly not a nice clean looking bone. But again, that's why I love speed paints, contrast paints. And again, guys, we're all gonna have different sort of ways we like to have our things painted. And for me, that grim, dark, dirty look is the way to go. And that's why I like to do the wash over any metallic colours. Yeah, they get a wash just to make them look a bit more grimier, dirtier, and that. And then we'll just paint the base. Obviously, we'll use a bigger brush than that one. I don't have many brushes, but this one is a little bit bigger. So yeah, with the bases, say I love the desert wasteland look, and that is definitely what I'm going for. Well, pretty much all the time now. I think I'm kind of hooked on it. So yeah, every miniature I paint from now on is going to have this until I find something I like better. So out comes my messy board. Well, it's not necessarily a messy board, it's a board to collect the mess, because this stuff, pigments, again, I've had one of these bottles sitting in a cupboard, in a drawer for at least 3 years. Because like you guys, I watch a lot of videos and think, oh yeah, I'll give that a go, buy the stuff, and then don't quite get round to it. Whereas, what did I see? Oh yeah, no, there's the commission I just recently did. The guy sent me a video showing Eons of Battle, and then obviously he did a base for Orks using pigment powder. And I'd even seen that video some time ago. I mean, that may have been the video that got me into it. I'm not too sure. So yeah, so I thought, oh, let's get the pigment powder out. That's been sitting there for quite some time, and we'll use that. And yeah, I love it. So obviously, I am new to pigments, so that's why I'm experimenting a bit more. Obviously, I have seen people mix it with water and then apply it. So obviously, I'm going to do the base, their feet. Yeah, going up to about their knees with this. So then when the water dries, it should leave the pigment powder sort of on them nicely to make it look like their feet have been walking in the sand, the dust, all that kind of stuff. So that's why they're kind of covered in it. Again, I've seen this on a lot of other people's videos, and it always looks really good. And yeah, I love it. And I love how it's sort of turned out with these miniatures. So yeah, absolutely love the look of these. So guys, don't forget to check out the link down below to refresh cartridges. To yeah, to say check out the amount of Warhammer stuff they have, which is all at say decent prices, which is pretty cool. So these little chaps that I have just painted, these will be on my eBay store, because they the pile of opportunity I've got. I am painting it, and then I'm going to sell it on eBay just so I can buy some more grey plastic. So guys, yeah, it'd be helping me out. Oops, I'll be out making more videos with all the new grey plastic I'll be buying. But yeah, check out my eBay link to see, well, if there's anything there that you like. But don't forget, I am now, say, taking commissions. So if you want me to paint something in particular, and in a particular sort of colour or whatever, then yeah, get in contact. My email is in the link or the description as well. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. You take care. See you in the next one. Bye now.